guys, so before I begin, I would like to make it very clear that this video is going up on both my main channel and Dear Hopefuls, and yes, it was filmed on the same day as I filmed last week's Dear Hopefuls video. However, it is still being filmed on the same day, and that is 9/11. And I mentioned it slightly for like a minute in my last video, Dear Hopefuls, but I haven't actually mentioned it properly. And it really got me thinking, okay, because in 2001, September 11, something terrible happened. Now, I'm not going to go into it simply because I feel very uneducated about that. I don't have much knowledge on it, and I believe I would not be the right person to give you the information. But I'm pretty sure most of us know what that was, and as I say, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the act of terror that happened. I'm actually also going to talk about the response of that act of terror, because it was an awful thing. It was so like incomprehensibly bad. But things like that, even if they're on a slightly smaller scale, are still happening in our day-to-day lives. They're literally happening almost every day. And they're in different countries, yes, sometimes, but sometimes they're in the same countries, in the same area, by the same people, over and over again. Now, that in itself is an awful thing, and I think that that's not right, and I can't believe that that's what this world has come to, that almost every day there is horrible news on the radio. But what I find is horrific, it's really just frightening actually, is the response it gets. Because in 2001, September 11, the world came to a standstill. Everyone stopped and realized, like, this is an act of terror, this is ridiculous, this is awful. We literally cannot comprehend it. It was the scariest thing, and it was really awful, and it was. But now those things are happening and no one blinks an eye. That's what's worrying. It's worrying that no one even thinks about, like, this is almost as bad as 9/11 was. And we all come to a standstill on 9/11. We still do. But no one comes to a standstill about every single day, which is understandable because we wouldn't have a proper life if we did. But the fact that our world has just decided to ignore it or pretend it doesn't matter because it's happening so often, that's awful. No. We have to pay more attention to the fact that this is happening every day of our lives. And so even though I'm a little person in the tiniest corner of the internet, I want to spread this word to 30 people, to 40 people, who will hopefully spread it to another 30 or 40, who will hopefully spread it to another 30 or 40, and eventually a lot of people will realize that we can't keep ignoring these awful acts of terror. We have to realize that they're just as equally awful and worrying and terrible as 9/11. But just because it's happening more often does not mean it makes it any better. So I just really hope people who are watching this will realize that 9/11, don't you mean 24/7? So sorry to leave you on such a awful, sad note / video. I hope you find it a funnier video to lift your mood up now. But I just thought that was really important to share, because it is, I believe. And it's entirely up to you. Make of this video what you want. But yeah, I'm just trying to do my bit. And I think you should too. Happy Sunday. Happy, maybe not. And I will see you guys next week if you're watching from Dear Hopefuls, and hopefully sooner than that if you're watching on My Name is Kelly. Goodbye.